once again. Oh.
Oh, that's what it
Oh,
wasn't that.
whoa.
It was a double.
Whoa.
It's a double bird kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Two of them.
Wow.
There it is. And he just got up, didn't turn for some reason, hit the side of the...
Last half hour, 45 minutes, jumped up into the number 2 spot.
Let's watch this replay on the video board now. And is that Mikhail Aloshin back there in that red and black car? Let's confirm that, make sure that's the number 7. He either white-walled it or came awfully close at the exit of turn number 2, right behind the yellow DHL car. And that is the Schmidt-Peterson Motorsports car, and you can see the black mark.
A couple of cars right behind him, Kevin. Look like I think you're right. It was the number 9 of Scott Dixon and perhaps the 98 of Alexander Rossi.
Whoa. Yeah, that's definitely Dixon. Rossi has to get slowed down. And then that's one of the Juncos cars, either Piggott or Saavedra, third in line there. For Ed Carpenter Racing, he drives the road and street courses in the number 20, and there's our first look at the replay. And he's on loan to Juncos Racing for this month of May. Here's one more look, and a late look at the end of that, and we see that's Marco Andretti, I think. I think that might have been Marco Andretti that, yes it is, the 27 car that had to scoot through that still after he started to lose control.
Boy, he hit the wall, the safer barrier there, almost head on.
Yeah, that's a heavy, heavy contact. So very pleased to see that Spencer got out of the car on his own quickly. He'll still get the check to make sure all is okay before he's cleared.
That car slid a long way from turn 2.
Ready to go with about 5 minutes left, so that would be my best guess.
Here it is. Ooh. Wow. Looks like he tried to correct, and that's not something that you do, because the car's going to turn right into the wall head first. Wow.
He was losing the back end, tried to correct, and luckily did hit mostly sideways instead of going straight in.
Second impact's going to be very hard. Wow.
So unfortunately, a lot of work to do for the Foyt team. Well, you're right, Bob. He turned and he was headed straight towards it, and then another correction got him headed back straight, so it was still a heavy blow, but more of a glancing blow. He came close to saving it.
Now exactly 15 minutes to go in this practice. We have Katie Hargett making her way to the IU health facility, and hopefully we'll get an opportunity to talk to Zach.
Hey, but my goodness, he's flying around the race course.
This is, oh, he loses it. Oh, it's a huge shunt.
My goodness. Sebastian Bourdais, as the car comes to a stop, and the fact that his hands immediately go to his visor, a wonderful sign, because any thought of change in the mood and then some here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
And he just rounds turn one, everything's looking good, but then on the entry to turn two, you'll see the rear end just snap loose a little bit on him in the middle of the corner. He tries to correct it, and that's what places the car at such an awful angle, that 45-degree angle there. Oh.
And so often you see the impact in that corner be more of a side impact. It was
Weekend on Saturday, Sebastian Bourdais was on a big lap, by far the fastest of the day at over 231 miles per hour, and then this, a frightening crash. Worst I can recall in many, many years. And for Sebastian Bourdais, we were so pleased to see him immediately moving the visor. The Hamaltra.
Did he get?
So he actually didn't touch the wall, but that is a momentum killer, if anything. It just, oh, and you can see he was all the way up and that he didn't touch the wall there. And again, very, very similar to Max Chilton, and there was definitely a touch this time by. Almost a bit similar to what we saw from Jack Harvey earlier.
Check for the white puff. Just from the touch. Clearly more on kind of the
Drivers, start your engine!
Here's the pass. A brilliant move, timed perfectly, going past his teammate Alexander Rossi on the inside, preferred place to pass. Nice smooth move, not out of it, did the right thing, the smart thing. I think
But see how late he is? Look how late he is.
Well, when you're on the outside, you're just soft pedaling. If the car works well, you can get off a throttle in a large amount, but he probably was just trying to creep the thing down there because he was so much into the turn. So I understand your point. I just think that Ryan Hunter-Reay.
Trouble, oh my goodness, what a huge crash. Scott Dixon is in it. Is the other car involved. Dixon and Jay Howard. There is Dixon. Look at that car. It is destroyed.
There's nothing left of the back. That sawed the engine in half.
Safety crew there working with Jay Howard.
Guys.
Good to see Jay Howard climb from that car. Wow. Let's show you what happened. Bizarre would be, I guess, a good word for it based on this first look.
As we watch the cars go through here, guys, the car on the very top, okay, which is Jay Howard. We're going to roll this through now. Well, look at Jay. He's already way off the line. He's off the dark patch of the racetrack, which we call the racing line. He's up in the gray. He's lost control of the car. He's hoping he's not going to hit the wall. He impacts the wall, comes off the wall, just misses the 10 of Tony Kanaan. Unfortunately, Scott Dixon is right there, up and over the front of the car. Car hits on the top of the wall. The safety cell on these cars, guys, I can't tell you how strong they are. An awful accident, but as we saw, Scott Dixon right there, hands away from the steering wheel. We saw him get out, and when we first went to this frame, when we first saw this accident, you heard some roar from the crowd, and that was because they knew that Scott Dixon was okay, and the 77 of Jay Howard was also okay.
Boy, this is just bad timing on Dixon's part and incredible fortune with the way this car lands on top of the wall.
Or he's incredibly fortunate.
On the top right there. On the top load.
He had nowhere to go, absolutely nowhere to go, and it landed exactly the way you don't want a car to land on a guardrail. He was just so lucky that the hard part of the car did not land 3 feet farther back.
There is an incredible amount of debris over in that part of the corner. Being told by race control they may be going to the red flag here, and will be going to the red flag to clean up the racetrack. But an awful crash. Jay Howard hits the wall first. Scott Dixon with no place to go. Was that Castroneves that went under Dixon?
It does, and he runs over some debris.
Oh, man.
He's so lucky. So lucky.
The safety cell that Scott Dixon sits in saved his life. I don't think that's an overstatement. Red flag out in the Indianapolis 500. Thankfully, both drivers climbed out and walked away.
He doesn't really use the safety fencing. He lands on top of it.
Obviously, part of the car got into it to rip it open, right?
Yes, he landed. Yeah. Oh my! I have never witnessed an accident like that.
You know, we talked about the number 3 of Elio Castroneves going underneath Scott Dixon's car. Remember, it was Elio a few years ago that ended up going airborne between turns 1 and 2 and walked away from that incident as well. We see how Scott Dixon was thrown around inside the cockpit of the car. All these drivers are so physically fit. He works out here locally as we ride along on board. Ooh.
This is from Castroneves.
He went right under it. There are so many things that had to go perfect.
Out of it, did the right thing, the smart thing, I think.
But see how late he is? Look how late he is.
Well, and when you're on the outside, you're just soft pedaling. If the car works well, you can get off a throttle in a large amount, but he probably was just trying to creep the thing down there because he was so much into the turn. So I understand your point. I just think that Ryan Hunter-Reay.
Indianapolis Motor Speedway, this horrific crash moments ago produced a red flag. Jay Howard's car comes across. That's the 4-time champion Scott Dixon, who launches and is airborne. His car contacts the wall with the right side, spins around and comes to rest. Howard's car also just about 30 feet away.
I'm not sure about that. You know, we ended up a couple of laps down. We ran out of fuel in the first stint, so that kind of put us a couple of laps down. And yeah, we were out there just trying to pick off some laps and see if we get some yellows and maybe try and salvage something from a race. And Hunter-Reay comes, gets a run on me. I lift to let him go, try and be the nice guy. And he moves right over on me and puts me out in all the grey and all the marbles, and rest is history, and he causes a massive accident. So to say I'm unhappy is an understatement.
We saw Scott Dixon's car coming up behind you. Could you see on your left side mirror his car approaching, or did it happen too quickly?
No.
You're hoping that the car, I was hoping that Jay was going to stay against the wall, but obviously with the impact it then started to turn down. But I'd already picked that, that way to go, and there was nowhere else to try and avoid him. So I'm glad he's okay too. And
stop if they do not want to have to take the time to turn around and remove the wing for replacement. Now let's watch to see if we can see where the piece comes from.
Wow. Came from the sky.
Yeah, already flying in the air. I think that does say Panasonic on it, so if that's the case, that might be Takuma Sato.
Yeah.
See what happens here with Marco. Just going to roll it here as we move through. Go ahead. Pieces are flying.
There it is.
And that got some hang time.
And that's the stuff when you're in the cockpit, as we've seen from the visor cam. You don't see that. It just comes down in front of you. As we roll here, he's starting to take advantage of some backup that's going on. Everybody's starting to get packed up a little bit. He thinks I'll go around the outside. Not enough room to go around the 83 of Charlie Kimball. Just touches wheels, and when you're on the outside, you're up in that gray area, and off he went into the wall. I'm sure if he had a do-over with that one, he would want to do that one more time differently.
But to his defense, he was on a roll, wasn't he? He just needed an extra half a foot. But it's kind of early in the race. We'd only done 67 laps. What a pity. He had a good car underneath him.
Now, as he slows down, watch Elio Castroneves look here.
Still there. Still there. You're clear by. Clear by.
That's the difference of a 4-time winner.
I was just
After the crash, watch it sort of the back end of the incident, and there'll be some debris right here that will catch Harvey, and he'll spin trying to avoid it. It's Oriol Serbia.
Yeah.
Oh, contact.
Yeah.
in the IndyCar Series and Indy 500. Now you see in the top right corner, his car is already around by the time he's getting to the midpoint of the turn. That's the apex. It looked like the back end had come around on him.
Early on, though, before he even came into the picture.
Yeah, no other car involved there.
Nope, so the car was either what we call very loose, where the back end wants to come around on you. We call that oversteer, or something broke on the car. I'm going to give you one more replay here. You can see the skid marks up into the wall, the safer barrier. That's been in play a little bit here today, that steel and foam energy reduction system. And for Buddy, 49 years old, previous winner of this race, at 49, the oldest driver in the series.
Very fit driver, spends a lot of time getting ready for this race.
Looking from Will Power's view.
Inside, 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 inside.
I think for Will Power, he saw that unfolding ahead of him and then start to get off the gas.
Maybe the cars behind him didn't see that.
And almost got run over by Takuma Sato when Power got out of the gas. 16 laps of caution to make it in one more stop. And the caution probabilities are, we're going to get another yellow. Who's that off the pace? That's an engine. That's Hunter Ray. Smoke. Caution.
Waiting for that all day. That's the first time a Honda engine has had a problem.
Copy, we see it.
It's so disappointing.
My pick for winning the event this morning.
So if you're a Honda driver right now and you see one of your buddies start smoking, what do you think?
It's funny you said that because that was going through my head right then and there, especially with your teammates' cars.
Well, let's look at the top four. First is Alonso, second is Rossi, then is Kanaan, all three Hondas. The fastest Chevy is Castroneves in a Penske.
You can only imagine how.
Because you can have a fantastic car and nothing happens, and sometimes you have an average car and you have a great race. He was running really well.
Led the most laps in the race, led on 7 different occasions. Not to be.
Remember last year he had such a good car before getting knocked out during that pit incident.
By his teammate, which I think definitely had to be frustrating.
Just joining us and weren't with us earlier, one of the stories entering this month, Honda seemed to find a little extra horsepower over the Chevrolets, but they have had some reliability problems here on the Speedway. Ryan Hunter-Reay is out. Let's listen.
Oops. That's the same thing we heard with Hinchcliffe's.
That is not a sound a driver wants to hear or feel.
So disappointing, so bitterly.
You turn around and you're going to see Ed Carpenter's car. Really, I think what's going to end up happening here is you're going to see him have a problem as he's going down into turn 1. Let's run with this. The car will go sideways. It looks like he's just got a lot of dirty air. Car goes sideways, and man, he's so lucky to collect that, and that there was actually another car there on the inside.
Inside, or one inside.
You see, he was off the gas going in the turn.
Clear behind you, all clear there to come down.
You know what? Wide.
Oh, and they all make it somehow.
Here with Ryan Hunter-Reay. Now we'll see it with Charlie Kimball.
Going down the straightaway, almost the same scenario as Ryan Hunter-Reay. Go for Charlie Kimball all the time, who used to always watch this race on television at home with his father in California. Now here with the number 3 on board. You can see straight ahead, and the oil comes up onto the screen of our onboard camera. And
Still there, still there.
that's when he was trying to outside move. Almost got that completed.
Closing on you.
Down the
One
back
back now.
stretch.
On your box, looking on the outside. Can we look at, gonna pop? Get outside, 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 outside. Clear, clear.
Great information from the spotter there. Onto the front stretch, and let's listen. This is where it happens.
No warning.
And now Fernando Alonso.
This remains the hardest 500 miles of race.
4 cars and a 5th spun.
There's the contact right there that starts. It looks like Oriol Servia right down on the white line. And just at that point in time starts to lose control. And you see the 18, James Davidson, getting taken out at the same time. I mean, both those guys just in this event for the one race, both did a tremendous job here today. But we talk about as you get closer to the end, restarts or competing. Eddie, you know, I've talked about this before because we've raced so many of these races. You don't give an inch anytime you go into a turn, and that's exactly what the result was here.
And that was literally a question of probably 5-6 inches.
Did you see how that rear wheel guard came across the top of Servia's car?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just in front of the cockpit.
That's about $1 million of damage going by on the screen. Now the drivers that are behind have literally nowhere to go, and they can't even see where they're going.
Kanan stuck through there.
He really does. I saw that in the previous one. Always seems to find a perfect way to get through it.
Joseph Newgarden. Take it back. He did hit something.
But it looked like it's even. It's on the left-hand side. 5.
James Hinchcliffe. CK here.
Oh, so much experience. Out of it, bails out of it. He should have been involved in that. But his experience, he took his foot off the gas.
Low power.
Yellow, 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 yellow.
See, everybody takes their hands off the steering wheel there. Oh. As you said, Eddie, almost got through there.
Oh.
And that's how loud it is in the car, too, isn't it, when we do that?
So, a lot of cleanup going on over in turn number 2 after a 5-car wreck in turn 1 that came on a restart with 17 laps to go. Servia, Davison, the first contact.
Yeah, when crashes look as destructive as that is a good thing because all the energy is being absorbed by all the pieces on the car. So the energy doesn't get transferred to the center cockpit there where the driver sits.
Nasty stuff. So the cleanup, there's all these cars, 5 cars involved in the wreck, and a lot of debris from the accident is consuming some laps that are left in this race.
Good.
Chilton is doing everything he can to stop him on the outside.
Here comes Sato for the race lead into 1, side by side. Chilton keeps his foot in it, holds him off.
Chilton, no.
Outside. And he's got it.
Your car coming out of 3, that allows these guys to be able to
run here.
Commit to the pass.
Got to run here. Chilton stays in it. He's got it. Revis to the race lead. Now for second place, Sato inside of Chilton, giving Castroneves a little breathing room. With a big run here. Takuma Sato to the lead.
We still have 5 laps to go.
Chilton has lost 3rd spot to Ed Jones.
221.6 miles an hour last lap.
2 to go.
He's going to try the outside again.
Nope. The one that got away comes back to him. Checkered flag is in the air, and the 101st Indianapolis 500 is won by Takuma Sato. The team owner, Michael Andretti, with his 5th win as an owner in this race, including 3 of the last 4. Takuma Sato is about as pleasant a guy as you'll talk to. Always polite, always smiling. And today he's going to smile as he kisses a brick as the winner of the Indy 500. Rick.